Cheers and welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, I know things look a little different because we're doing a double brew on two different systems. One from Blichmann, one from Anvil, technically the same company. And I've got a guest brewer.
How you doing?
That's Evan. You may have seen him in the taste testing video we did with the IPAs. Old friend of mine, big home brewer also. He's out of Gainesville. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. And I know you're thinking, what are you brewing? Well, yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Definitely appreciate it. We've got two really cool beers we're brewing today, okay? The first one is one I've been dying to brew, and it is a Pineapple Bomb IPA. And what makes it a Pineapple Bomb? I'm not adding any pineapple. I'm not adding any pineapple juice. I'm not back flavoring with pineapple. I'm not putting any pineapple in it. And I'm expecting and crossing my fingers that everything comes out as planned and we will have a Pineapple Bomb. So how am I gonna get a Pineapple Bomb? And I know you've seen other brewers out there who have done some pineapple things, but not to this extreme, I promise you. They didn't use the right yeast. The right yeast is gonna be the key to making a Pineapple Bomb. But yeah, it's a Pineapple Bomb IPA, and I'll go over my recipe in a minute, but I'm gonna let Evan tell you what he's getting ready to brew.
I'm going to be brewing something a little more pedestrian, a little more standard. This is the AHA Big Brew from 2021. It's an American brown ale based on Tasty McDole's Janet's Brown. Made a few tweaks, changed a few things based on what I wanted to do and what we had on hand. But should be a pretty good beer.
And technically it's a Hoppy Brown Ale, which is cool. And I guess I left that out, and that's kind of exciting for me. It was kind of exciting for Evan, or at least got some anxiety going, is he was driving here an hour away, and I was like, he gets here and I'm like, okay, here's the deal. You're gonna brew something. We had a third brewer come in and he was gonna brew something, but he's not here. So I'm like, you're gonna brew something. He's like, what do you want me to brew? I'm like, you get to brew anything you want, and I'm gonna let you pick any hops, any yeast, anything you want out of my beer fridge and freezer, and I'll show pictures of those so you can see I got a lot of stuff in there. Not holding it back anything except for the ones I needed, which was one yeast and one hop. And then I took him over to my grains and he's like, I don't know what to brew. There's so many things here to brew. And it took him a little bit to kind of come in and go, okay, do you have this? I'm like, yeah, you have this? Yeah, I have this, yeah. And then we had to find some of that grain because yeah, it's been a while and I knew it was there somewhere. But yeah, I'm not always good at, I'm really good at managing my inventory. I'm not good at removing things from my inventory from time to time when I brew them. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna give you the recipe of what I'm brewing, and then Evan's gonna give you his recipe. We don't have a lot of space on the screen here, so we're just gonna put the recipe over our face, okay? It's just the way it is. I know, it's a double brew day all at the same time. And we'll do the same thing when we do the Brewing Salts, which when I add those, I'll show that to you. So Pineapple Bomb IPA. I'm gonna tell you the trick to the Pineapple Bomb IPA after I tell you the recipe. Don't forget, appreciate the support, appreciate you, appreciate the support for the channel. Okay, first of all, we got 10 pounds of Pilsner. Did I do 10? No, I did not. It was 10 pounds of Pale Ale, 2-row, but this says I used Pilsner. So yeah, the recipe's wrong, I'm right. 10 pounds of 2-row, just pale malt. I did 1 pound of rye malt. I did 1 pound of wheat malt, which that one, I did it for a specific reason because that's gonna help carry the flavors and aromas. They're gonna linger on your tongue a little longer. So if a flavor is more of a nuance, it's gonna stand out more. And then I did 6.5 ounces of Victory malt. That was one of my favorite malts starting when I first started brewing. And 6 ounces of a dark Munich. I didn't want to use caramel. I just wanted to use something to give it a little color, a little depth. Now here's what's gonna make it a pineapple. And you've seen other home brewers out there that have done a pineapple, but not to this extreme. And I'll show you why the extreme. First, this is what they've done. And I had already planned on doing this almost a year ago, but it's BRU 1. And it's from Yakima Valley. I'm using all 8 ounces in different places. I'm barely adding any hops until the very end. But Brew 1 or BRU 1, I don't know what you want to call it. It's a Lupamax too.
Absolutely love that hop.
Yeah, 20% alpha, stupid high alpha. I've seen it at 16.5 and 18, but this is at 20 right now. The key is we got 2.5 ounces of the hops at 5 minutes, 2.5 ounces at a Whirlpool, which I believe I have it at 185. I'm gonna drop it down a little bit temp-wise. That's to maximize that aroma. I'm all about aroma and flavor here, okay? The IBUs are gonna be less than, or right at 50, 54.6, so 55 IBUs. And then we got a 3 ounce of dry hopping later on during fermentation. I know that's a pineapple hop, but it's not a pineapple bomb. It really isn't. Here's what's gonna make it a pineapple bomb. And I've done testing with this, okay? Kvite, it's a blend. It's 3 Kvite yeasts from Imperial, A44, I always forget the thing. I remember A, I never remember the stupid number. I ordered this special. What happens is if you ferment that at 95 degrees, you're gonna get tropical flavors, tropical aroma and a hint of pineapple rind. But if you kick it down to about 85 degrees, all you're gonna get is pineapple. Tons and tons of pineapple. I did a video about that beer years ago, I think when I first started YouTube. I might have done it before I started YouTube, I don't remember even anymore. But we did do a taste testing with Kvike, and we did a bunch of different Kvikes, 15 different ones, and one was at 95, which was this. And that's where we got the tropical instead of all the pineapple. So the yeast is gonna make it like I literally poured pineapple juice in here. Nice. It is gonna be nothing but pineapple, and it's gonna have a little bit of bitter, it's gonna have a little bit of an IPA, you know, the aroma's gonna stand out. It's all about the pineapple here though. So that's pretty much it before I go to the brewing salt. So I'm gonna let Evan introduce his beer, and I probably forgot, oh, and I'm at 12 pounds, 12 and a half ounces of total grain. That really doesn't matter because I say it because his does matter.
Thanks, Mike. Like I said, I'm brewing an American brown ale, a hoppy American brown ale, a la Tasty McDowell's Janet's Brown. I made a couple of tweaks in honor of my friend here who was huge on rye. I added some rye tweaks in there. Whereas my beer called for chocolate malt, I'm going to use some chocolate rye malt. The main malt I'm using is just standard Pale Two-Row. Got 11 and a half pounds of that in there. Pound of Crystal 40. I've got a pound of wheat malt in there just to give it some body, a little unctuousness, some carapils for the same reason, the chocolate rye, and just a little hint of some golden naked oats. Give it a little more body, tiny hint of sweetness in there to kind of balance out the hops and the roasty malts in there. Our hop schedule is a little different than the original. I know the original used Northern Brewer as the main hop. We didn't have any, so I'm going to use some Columbus as my bittering hop, and then I'm going to use Cascade and Centennial as my flavor and aroma hops, and for some dry hopping. And that's pretty much it. A fairly simple beer, which a couple little tweaks make mine.
And he'll tell you, it's shocking I didn't have Northern Brewer because I have like every other hop in there.
Get them all, but no Northern Brewer. But that's okay. That's okay. We're going to try this with a hop that more people are probably going to have on hand anyway, and that's Columbus.
I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do our brewing salts. He's kind of doing something that I mentioned that he's going to try out. Oh, show him the yeast. We're going to look at
Oh,
yeast.
yeah, I forgot the yeast. I'm going to be using Imperial's dry hop ale yeast. Seems like a perfect yeast to pull out the hoppiness in this beer, kind of accentuate that, bring it forward.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with that, 24 is technically two yeasts blended together from what I understand from Imperial. It's 04, which is Barbarian, which is a Chico. And then your 20 is one that helps to get the hops really up and out so you can taste and smell them. So it just sounded like the perfect yeast. Plus, you know, he had to pick from whatever was in my fridge, and I didn't have every yeast.
This should do the trick, though. I think I'm going to like it.
I'll put this up on front of my face here, but this is the brewing salts. I'm gonna go ahead and dump that in there, and I'll get that stirred up. And now I'll let Evan put his in, and Evan is gonna hold back on his alkaline, which is the baking yeast and chalk.
Can't remember which one he uses.
Oh, baking soda is obvious. That's baking soda.
Okay, there we go.
And that way we're not adding alkaline.
Yeah, we didn't want to alkalize this. Wanted to stay fairly acidic in the mash, and I was afraid that would jack the pH up a little too much. We're going to add that later.
I sold him on it.
His idea.
I learned it from a couple professional brewers I've watched some training on years ago, or actually just about a year and a half ago. So yeah. And then you got to now dip it if it didn't go without burning yourself. I do have a stepladder around here somewhere.
I think I'm just tall enough for that.
There the advantage of being tall. I'm definitely not.
Can you borrow your spoon real quick?
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, give us a moment and we'll mash in. Okay, I figure you don't care to watch me, just watching the mash in. And if you don't remember the BrewEasy compact, yeah, green basket's already in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put in maybe about almost 2 worth of rice hulls. I should have blended them in, but it's okay. They float, as you can see. And when I start putting the grains in, they will stick to the grains and we'll be all good. So there we go. And I've learned 4 of these is almost a pound. So it's like 3.2 ounces each. But I know your solo cup might hold more, I don't know. They seem to make them slightly different. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mash in. We'll speed this part up as usual. Okay, we're mashed in. It's a little thick. I didn't go OCD on the water, so I might have needed to add a little bit more water to grain ratio, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and put this in here, and I'm gonna get the mash going, and we'll be here for 75 minutes. So I'm gonna take it over to Evan here in a minute, and you can watch him mash in.
All right, so now it's my turn. Adding my rice hulls now, because the rye in there is gonna make it a little sticky. So we're gonna wanna get those in there. I'm gonna go ahead and get my grains in here, and Mike's gonna work some magic. Mike, if you wanna hit that for me and speed me up.
Gotcha. Okay, I know I'm not showing you everything like through another camera, but I got a lot going on. I've got a drip over here. I got to figure out what I just did. I touched it and it started dripping. Okay, it's done. We mashed in. You got to see both of those at high speed, and both of our mash temps are a little overshot, so we're bringing them back down around 60% on both. See where we go. We should be fine on Anvil. I haven't used the Blichmann BrewEasy Compact in a while, so kind of like refresher. I'm like, yeah, I used to know how to ride that bike, so it's taking a minute to come back up to speed. But we're gonna be here for about 75 minutes. The timer over here has been going for a little while. We just started the timer now, and we're good there. We got a trickle on the reflow. We're using the XP pump. I know I'm not showing you quite as much details as you normally see in some of the other videos, but we got two things going on at the same time. So yeah, that's a lot to see anyways. And once we get up to 168, we'll kick up, and when we go to mash out, we'll get resuming with the videos and show you what we're doing. Okay, it auto kicked up because of course, you know, it's got the brew commander. Went to 168, there goes my leak again. How the hell did I do that? Okay, it's fixed. I borrowed some quick connects from something. We'll just say it that. Needless to say, I'm at 168, it's done with its mash out temp. I'm gonna take this off, I'm gonna lift it up. It's gotta cool down for a minute. Evan's got, I think, what, 4 or 5 minutes left?
5 minutes,
and then
yeah.
we're gonna mash that out. We'll go ahead, we'll sparge, and then we'll resume after that point. I'll see if I can show you this one, just because I don't wanna leave you empty-handed, you know what I'm saying? A lot of dripping there. And you can hang it here, but the problem with hanging it there when you're doing all this, it gets in your way.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I gotta hook this up on the side, so it's gonna be in my way. So I gotta find a home for it somewhere. That looks good enough. This is silicone, so I can reach in and grab this. I need to stop the pump. Oh, you know what? I haven't used the brew commander in a little bit. I forgot that the pump is right there. I hit a button, pump stops. Done, pump has stopped. I pull that out. And all the lovely water, drip, drip, drip. Actually, I guess that's wort now, it's not water.
That's wort.
Keep forgetting that. And there we go. I've learned that. It never drips off. Nice having a sink really close by. Let's see if the handle's gonna burn me. I don't think it's gonna burn me. Oh, no, it's gonna burn me. Part of it's a little hotter than I thought. And I'm gonna get the step stool. I may actually have to pull his mash so he doesn't hurt himself, because I'm thinking I may have to get the ladder. Because of how tall that is.
It's pretty tall.
He is taller than me, but I don't think he's that tall. Okay, safety, I don't want to burn myself. It was a little hotter. That silicone piece was not a big deal. Okay, one thing with the BrewEasy Compact, and even with the Anvil or any system like this where you have to come way up high and then come back down, try to keep it centered and slowly set it down. If you slap it up, you're gonna get some liquid over the side, which I've done. Hey, something's done. I don't know, I thought we were already there, but that's okay. Ooh, I have to check something. Yeah, that's okay, we're good. Okay, we're gonna let this drip. I'm gonna get 1 gallon of hot water to sparge. We'll get 1 gallon of hot water over there to sparge, and we'll resume with the boil. Okay, trying to make this video not crazy long with 2 brews going and 2 people at the same time, because it can get crazy. I know I'm a little long on videos, so we're 45 minutes in on the boil. I have no additions until the last 5 minutes. I think I have like a hop addition. I have double check.
5-minute hop addition.
And then I have a whirlpool, and then I have a dry hop, which you're not going to see right away. But Evan's got a few things, and we were doing a 90-minute. he tried to do a 60, but I gave him a 90-minute water addition. So we might find somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, well, it'd be a little more water or a little
more bitter.
Hops. A little bitter.
A little more bitter or a little more.
I added what I thought was a 60-minute addition, and there's now a 90-minute addition. So we'll see how that comes out.
Yeah, the theory is if we end early and the boil off was really good because we seem to have a lot of steam and I'm doing it at 100%, we might not be that far off.
Nah.
And that way it won't mess up his bittering or anything else, and we'll be good. But we'll check the water level just before his next addition to see if it looks kind of on the lower side. And if it is, we're fine. It's his call either way. Either he's going to end up with possibly a little lower ABV and everything will be happy, or it's going to be a little more bitter.
Neither one of those is the end of the world.
And thank God for diminishing returns.
Right, exactly.
If you boil it for 60 or you boil it for 2 hours, you're not going to get much difference, but there's a point of diminishing returns. Okay, until we get our first edition over here or our next edition over here, we'll see you. Okay, so we figured out that his hop addition is going to add about how many IBUs?
About 5 IBUs.
5 more?
4 maybe.
4, okay. It's not going to go over 40. It's right at like 39.9 or something. It's supposed to be around 35 or something. Over here, I still got like 25 minutes, but I'm actually really close to where I need on my total boil, and all my hop additions and everything are at the end. So I'm gonna go right ahead and I'm gonna add my yeast nutrient and my Whirlflock tablet now. I'm gonna let it go for 5 more minutes. Will I measure out my hop addition because I forgot to weigh it. And then I will toss that in. And then we'll let it cool down a little bit and we'll do the Whirlpool at 185. So yeah, we're gonna call this one early because that's a good thing with doing hop additions all at the end. But that was my goal for this beer. So it wasn't a big IPA, it was a pineapple bomb IPA.
Right.
And the only reason I picked IPA is because of all the hops I'm adding of pineapple brew. Okay, let's rock on. Okay, I'm going ahead, I'm gonna drop in the 2.5 ounce, 5-minute hop addition. Once we get down, I'm not even gonna start chilling, I'm just gonna let it cool itself down, get it down, and we'll kick the Whirlpool on. And it's starting to boil up a little bit, but it's gonna go back down. Trick, if you're worried about a boil up because you're really towards the top, pull a little bit of wort, mix your hops in, stir it up, then put it back in. I got that from John Blichmann because I hadn't done that before. Kind of a cool little trick. Okay, I said 5 more minutes, we went about 6, so maybe the IBUs will be up a tiny bit. But needless to say, I've got it, starting its whirlpool, it's got some hop matter up around the edge. But yeah, I'm just gonna let it naturally cool. I just killed the power. And once we get down to 185, I'm gonna drop another 2.5 ounces of hops and we'll do our whirlpool. Then I'll drop my jaded Stella chiller in there and chill it down. And then we'll move it on over here because he should be finishing up right behind me. Yeah, we'll keep going.
Yummy.
Okay, so he's got some ice cream. Oh wait, no, is that corn sugar?
Where's the Whirlflock? There we go.
Oh, cherry on top.
Cherry on top. Got me a little sundae there. All right, so it is time for my final addition, and that's going to be some corn sugar, about 8 ounces of corn sugar, yeast nutrient, and a Whirlflock tablet. It's going to go in for about 5 minutes. Here we go.
Any more hop additions? Are we good? Or?
Nope, we're done with hops. Just this goodness here.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, you're going to have to stir that bad boy up.
Sorry, I completely lied. I do have a hop addition.
Okay, I thought you were saying you had another hop addition.
Is that mine?
Yeah, it's not, no. That's 2.5. I just did that.
Oh, my goodness.
We almost mixed our hops up.
That would have been
that's my hops.
That's a whole lot less.
Yeah, I was like, nah, that's mine. That's right. It's where we, cross the beers back and forth and end up with a crazy concoction.
A hybrid.
Okay, well, he stirs that up. I got 2.5 ounces going to the Whirlpool. I'm already whirlpooling. I should be right around 185. I don't know what that is. We'll find out.
Self-destruct in 3, 2. Just kidding.
Oh, mine's telling me to add, Whirlpool. Okay. I'll be here for 10 minutes. I'm gonna let it just naturally reduce in temperature. It'll probably be around 175 in 10 minutes. So yeah. And you're gonna be here for a couple minutes.
5 minutes.
And we gotta get the chiller. We're gonna have to get the chiller over here first actually then. Yeah, because I got 10 more minutes of just running, so I'm good. Right. We'll be back. Okay, so we had a good brew day. I had some technical difficulty. The camera just died. So you're kind of seeing this after the fact, and we're just gonna tell you what we told you before. The only difference is our yeast packets are empty. But Evan's came out a little low because we have a little extra liquid because I screwed him up and gave him too much water. It's just the way it is. And then on mine came out a little high, but because I was supposed to be doing 5 1/4 gallons, and instead I only pulled 5 because my boil off was so amazing. I had to like literally just call it 20 minutes early and pull what I had. And it's all good. It'll still be great beers. Now, I know some of you are looking going, wait a minute, that's a flat and this is a all-rounder. And flat is not a pressure fermenter. No, it's not. This is just from what I put on here. I'm gonna take that off. I'm gonna put a bubbler on it. I will put that back when we do the transfer because it can handle a few PSI for a transfer. And I've got some dry hopping, 2 different hops. I think Centennial.
2 hops, one addition, Centennial and Cascade. Pretty traditional.
And then I've got the rest of the Brew hops, which I think is like, what did I use? 5, and I have 3 left. So I'm gonna use 3 ounces of dry hop on the BRU-1 hop. And I'm gonna pitch the yeast, which I already pitched. I did put a little Clarity Firm in here. We did not put any Clarity Firm over here. And over here, this one's gonna be fermented at 85 degrees. This one over here with dry hop from Imperial is gonna be fermented at 67 degrees because the temperature is kind of right in the middle of the range. And Evan taught me something new about the yeast, which I didn't think about because I've been reading and I've been using so many dry yeast lately. And the dry yeast says to pitch, or no, to let the yeast get up to room temp before pitching. This actually says?
It says store cold, open cold. Doesn't say anything about bringing it to room temperature. So you pour this right out of the fridge.
Yep. So there's a note, because I've been told a lot of times you take your packets out and let them get up to room temp. This one's like, oh, keep it cold, bitch. And you know, it's funny because I'm actually below temp right now and I'm gonna be boosting up to 85. I also put this in an all-rounder for a reason because I'm gonna use that heat wrap, and I figure the heat wrap's kind of tall, and if I get this elevated a little bit more, I'm gonna get a more consistent heat touching it. Over here, I was afraid it was gonna stick up so high I wasn't gonna get as consistent. It probably worked fine. But over here, we're gonna be 67, here we're 85. They're gonna be on the same glycol system. The glycol system probably won't use any glycol over here. It's just gonna let the heat wrap do the job, using an Inkbird on the Blichmann glycol system. Over here, it's gonna be using glycol to keep the temp down because my average temp right now in here is about 73 degrees. We were dying during our brew, so it's at 69 right now, and we're just starting to feel good because it's been like a humidity bath.
Very humid in here, yes.
Oh, and hey, look, he's trying some of my jalapeno blueberry sour, and for some reason, I don't know what happened, but it came out all foam, so we had to let the foam settle.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of jalapeno up front,
Yeah,
but you notice it dissipates.
Yep.
And I wish I had a little bit more blueberry, but that's still a freaking good beer. I don't have much left. Maybe that's why it's foaming. There's not much left. But yeah, that's it. I appreciate y'all joining us. Don't forget, like, subscribe. Do a little appreciation by hitting like and subscribe for Evan. He drove from an hour away, and it's raining cats and dogs outside, and he's got to drive home in that hot mess. Trust me, if you've been on Jacksonville roads, once he gets to Gainesville, he's fine, but Jacksonville's gonna suck. If you go through Stark, that's like a police, like oh, you went a mile over, I'm gonna nail you. There are billboards in Stark telling you about the cops. They're so bad. And there's a jail there, so they don't have far to take you. So yeah, if you ever been to Stark, Florida, try to go around it, avoid it, just don't bother. If you go through it, go at the speed limit or below. If you're a criminal, just avoid it. Just trust me. If you got a warrant, don't be an idiot. So, but yeah, just saying. Cheers. Appreciate you. Thank you.
It's fun, thanks.